The case shocked many people across Kogi State, not just because of the brutal way the young lady died, but because of how quickly people on social media rushed to judge her before even understanding the full story. This happened in Kogi State on April 11, 2026. A young Celestial Church member known as Winnie was found dead after she went to visit a male friend in a hotel. This is honestly one of the saddest stories I have covered this year. When I first saw the news online, I quickly rushed to the comment section to see how Nigerians were reacting to the incident. But sadly, instead of sympathy, many people were attacking the deceased and even dragging our religion into the matter. And if I must say this clearly, nobody is perfect. Nobody is above mistakes, regardless of where you come from, your tribe or your religion. Every human being has both good and bad sides. No one is completely holy. Many people who did not know the full story immediately assumed Winnie was just a girl moving around with random men. But according to people close to her, that was far from the truth. The young man involved in the incident, whose name was Ima, allegedly pretended to be a very wealthy Yahoo boy. He constantly showed off flashy lifestyles online, expensive clothes, designer accessories, and luxury phones. But investigations later revealed that many of the things he used to impress women were borrowed from friends. The chains, wristwatches, shoes, and even some of the clothes he wore around her reportedly belongs to different people. Who Ima claimed to be was not really who he truly was. Sources said Winnie and Ima's relationship was only about 3 weeks old. Ima reportedly met her in a dating group on Telegram. From there, they exchanged contacts, starting chatting regularly and slowly became close. Their conversations allegedly became more personal as days passed. Ima knew exactly what to say. He acted caring, calm, mature, and financially stable. At first, Winnie reportedly hesitated before agreeing to meet him physically because she was naturally reserved. But Ima kept convincing her that he was serious about her. He allegedly spoke about business deals, future plans, and expensive lifestyles. He made himself look successful and trustworthy. After they finally met, their relationship quickly became stronger. They started hanging out together, attending parties, visiting lounges, and going clubbing at night. There is also a particular photo circulating online that many people claimed was Winnie, but honestly, it still remains unclear because the image was not properly verified. Some people believe it was her, while others strongly disagree. But what nobody knew was that behind Ima's smiling face was allegedly a very dangerous plan already in motion. According to reports, one day Ima contacted Winnie and asked her to meet him at their usual spot. Winnie arrived, looking tired after spending most of her day outside. Witnesses later claimed the two spent several hours together that evening before deciding to go clubbing later in the night. What Winnie did not know was that Ima had already allegedly planned everything with 2 of his friends. Police sources claimed Ima secretly contacted the 2 boys earlier and instructed them on what to do. Immediately after he and Winnie returned from the club to the hotel room, the alleged plan was simple but deadly. Rob her, collect her valuables, empty her bank account, and disappear before daybreak. That was the plan. At that moment, Winnie had absolutely no idea she was walking into a trap carefully arranged by people she trusted. Hours later, after partying and spending time together, Ima and Winnie reportedly arrived back at the hotel around 4 a.m. The hotel environment was already quiet. Most of guests were asleep. Security at the reception area appeared relaxed because they assumed Ima and Winnie were simply another couple returning from a night out. Moments later, Ima's friends arrived and knocked on the hotel room door. Without hesitation, Ima opened the door and allowed them inside. According to police reports, the 3 young men sat down and briefly discussed something quietly among themselves, while Winnie remained confused about why other people suddenly entered the room at that hour. After a few minutes, Ima allegedly turned toward Winnie and demanded her phone. But Winnie immediately became suspicious. What for? She reportedly asked him. Emma kept insisting. At first, she refused because the request suddenly felt strange and uncomfortable. But within seconds, everything changed. Emma allegedly grabbed Winnie aggressively and forcefully covered her mouth before she could scream properly. Immediately, out of fear, she reportedly gave them the password, but the nightmare did not end there. After unlocking the phone, one of the boys allegedly opened her banking application and demanded her banking password too. Terrified and shaken, Winnie reportedly revealed it. And according to investigators, the criminals allegedly transferred all the money in her account into another account, believed to belong to them or someone connected to the operation. But even after collecting the money, they allegedly were not satisfied. And despite the severe bleeding, she reportedly kept fighting. Nobody reportedly heard her cries for help. Minutes later, after losing too much blood and struggling continuously, Winnie slowly became weak. That was when Emma a hotel. According to reports, the suspect strategically left one after another so nobody would suspect them. One left first, another followed later. Then Emma finally walked out like nothing had happened. Many Nigerians later questioned the professionalism of the hotel itself. How could a man and his girlfriend checked into a room, then two other men later entered the same room in the middle of the night and nobody found it suspicious? How did 4 people enter that room, yet the workers never monitored what was happening? And even more disturbing, how did the men live separately without anybody asking questions about the woman they arrived with? These were some of the painful questions people kept asking online after the incident. Hours later, sometime in the morning, a hotel cleaner reportedly went to clean the room. At first, she noticed someone lying on the bed and assumed the guest was still sleeping. She reportedly called out several times, but there was no response. According to witnesses, the cleaner moved closer and noticed blood stains around the bed area. That was when panic immediately set in. She reportedly screamed loudly and rushed outside, calling other hotel workers. When they entered the room, the sight before them reportedly left everybody in shock. Winnie was lying motionless in her own pool of blood. She was no longer responding. The entire hotel environment reportedly became chaotic within minutes. Some workers allegedly ran outside. How could a young woman who entered the hotel alive just hours earlier suddenly end up dead? This is what many people could not process. Appeared. The suspect allegedly knew how to enter quietly, attack quickly, steal valuables, and disappear before sunrise. To many people, it looked like a dangerous robbery pattern they may have practiced before. Soon afterward, police officers arrived at the scene after receiving emergency calls from the hotel management. The area was immediately secured. Officers questioned workers, checked visitor records, and examined the room carefully for evidence. Winnie's body was later evacuated from the hotel as shocked residents watched silently after police discovered Winnie's damaged phone left behind inside the room. Although the phone was partially damaged during the struggle, investigators reportedly recovered it and took it for repairs, and from there, the case reportedly began opening up slowly. Police allegedly traced the bank account where Winnie's money was transferred. That single breakthrough reportedly led investigators to one of the suspects identified as Joshua. After Joshua was arrested, reports say he eventually cooperated with investigators and led police to a man's hiding location. Police later arrested Emma alongside another suspect identified by the nickname Dami, also known as Neo. The arrests reportedly brought temporary relief to many angry residents demanding justice. During interrogation, the suspect allegedly confessed. According to police sources, they claimed it was never their intention to kill Winnie. They allegedly said the original plan was only to rob her and leave. The suspect also reportedly claimed it was their first time carrying out such an operation. However, many Nigerians strongly doubted that statement. People question how first-time criminals could allegedly execute such a coordinated and violent attack with that level of confidence. Police authorities later appealed to the public to remain calm while investigations continued. They assured residents that the suspect would be charged to court after investigations were completed and that justice must prevail. Meanwhile, the incident left many people across Kogi State in deep shock and fear. Social media became flooded with emotional reactions. Some blamed the dangers of online dating. Others warned young women to be careful about who they trust. And many people continued mourning Winnie, saying she never deserved such a painful ending. Sadly, what began as a normal night out with someone she trusted allegedly turned into the final night of her life.
Yahoo!